Naija ṣì máa dùn, gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀, oyin dẹ̀ ṣì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Ọba òkè fẹ́ fi Naija dára, aṣálẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣàn fún wàrà, afẹ́fẹ́ tó fẹ́ tù wá lára. Gbogbo tó ti bàjẹ́ ó bọ̀ wá dára, kò sẹ́ni tó lè ṣe, Ọlọ́run ló lè ṣe. Kéku kò kébì eku, kẹ́yẹ kò kébì yẹ, ọba òkè ọba àánú o, bá mi pélé yò ó. Naija ṣì máa dùn, gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. You might be wallowing in the mud. If you must seek help, let it be from God. Help comes from above, not abroad. He will turn things around with his word. Bẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ kò sí ibi tá a máa sá lọ, ilé làbọ̀ sinmi oko. Àwọn bàlújẹ́ à ń fẹsẹ̀ fẹ́, àwọn jẹ̀lú máa dẹ̀ wọ́n gbọ́. Kọ́ngó kọ́ngó àgògò ń dún kọ́ngó kọ́ngó. Gbogbo àwọn akóso ilé ta, lèdùmarè máa lé síta. Naija ṣì máa dùn, gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ ṣì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Gbogbo tó ti bàjẹ́ ó bọ̀ wá dára, kò sẹ́ni tó lè ṣe, Ọlọ́run ló lè ṣe. Kéku kò kébì eku, kẹ́yẹ kò kébì yẹ, ọba òkè ọba àánú o, bá mi pélé yò ó. Naija ṣì máa dùn, gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ ṣì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Naija ṣì máa dùn, gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ ṣì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Naija ṣì máa dùn, gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ ṣì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Ọba òkè fẹ́ fi Naija dára, aṣálẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣàn fún wàrà, afẹ́fẹ́ tó fẹ́ tù wá lára. Gbogbo tó ti bàjẹ́ ó bọ̀ wá dára, kò sẹ́ni tó lè ṣe, Ọlọ́run ló lè ṣe. Kéku kò kébì eku, kẹ́yẹ kò kébì yẹ, ọba òkè ọba àánú o, bá mi pélé yò ó. Naija ṣì máa dùn, gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ ṣì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. You might be wallowing in the mud. If you must seek help, let it be from God. Help comes from above, not abroad. He will turn things around with his word. Yeah. Bẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ kò sí ibi tá a máa sá lọ. Ilé làbọ̀ sinmi oko. Àwọn bàlújẹ́ àfẹsẹ̀fẹ́. Àwọn jẹ̀lú máa dẹ̀ wọ́n gbọ́. Kọ́ngó kọ́ngó àgògò ń dún kọ́ngó kọ́ngó. Gbogbo àwọn akọ́sí létà. Lèdùmarè máa lé títà. Ajá ṣì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹran. Oyin dẹ̀ ṣì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up.
Ọlọ́run bá wà ní sọ̀kalẹ̀ náà àwọn ara wa láfi wá ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. Mo kí gbogbo wa káàbọ̀ sórí àkọ́tún ètò ti òní. Adẹ̀tọrọ àforíjì wípé ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá a lè wá sórí ètò fún ìdí kan àbí méjì. Adébímpé Adéníran Adọ́rin yìí náà ni o. Láì dènà pẹnu, we'll be talking about the proposed regulation of the social media by the federal government. Tabanikawo, after the EndSARS protest, a rí pé the protest began as an online campaign on Twitter, especially on Twitter. So it gathered momentum, and the protest, in fact, very low range in recent times. So it was impossible to overlook how digital tools were used to sustain the protest. They were coordinated, the protesters, via the digital tools. So today, so after the few days, the Minister for Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, wọ́n bọ́ síta wọ́n ní ó dà pé àwọn àgbégègélé kìíní yìí o torí fake news pọ̀, àwọn ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, wọ́n ní fake news. Fake news. So we have in the studio today Alàgbà Dayọ̀ Ọdẹ́rìnú. Kí ló ń pa ẹlẹ́rìn?
Alàgbà Dayọ̀ tó bá ń fi sí náà ni wàá.
Àwọn kan ló fúnra ẹ lálàgbà ni. Owó tí kò ní wọ́n ó
kọ́ tó bá wọ ọmọ ní wọ́n ń jẹ́ lẹ́yìn òdì.
So Mr. Dayọ̀ Ọdẹ́rìnú is the managing partner Mabella Media Hub. Ṣé mo gbà á?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Àwọn tájọ ṣètò lẹ́nu rè látàbí jan.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o, ẹ kálẹ́ o gbogbo lé.
Alàgbà Ọdẹ́rìnú, ẹ bá mi kí àwọn èèyàn.
Ẹ kálẹ́ o gbogbo lé, orúkọ mi ni Adédayọ̀ Ọdẹ́rìnú. Mo rò pé tiẹ̀ ti sọ kékeré tí ń bẹ ńbẹ̀ náà téèyàn lè sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ àwọn tẹ̀síwájú.
Kí ni nǹkan o? Ẹ sọ ń tẹ̀sí.
Àwa náà bọ́ sí àwọn iṣẹ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan tó papọ̀ mọ́ bíi ìpolówó ọjà nǹkan kan lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára.
Ìyẹn gan-an la ṣe pè yín. Lórí àrí pé ẹ mọ̀ lò dáadáa.
Ẹ já tẹ̀síwájú káwọn bí.
Ẹ já tẹ̀síwájú. We also have in the house Honourable Al-Mustapha Ayanfe. He is the CEO Focus Arena Service. Bonjour.
Ìyá wa bonsoir
ni o.
Bonsoir ni o. Bonsoir o.
Ẹ kálẹ́ ẹ kúrò lẹ ẹ kálẹ́ náà la máa kí gbogbo wa.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
A kú ètò ìlú.
Ó ga o.
Ajínigbára máa jẹ́.
Àmín Olúwa.
Àmín.
Láì dènà pẹ̀lú mo ní lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí wọ́n ṣe protest EndSARS tán, a rí pé oríṣiríṣi ìjọba kan ní irọ́ ló ẹ pa, òótọ́ ni báyìí ló ṣe jẹ́. Protest yẹ pé àwọn bàbá wa kan tún lọ yẹ kámẹ́rà wò ní ibùdókọ̀ ní tógèètì. Wọ́n lọ bẹ̀ wọ́n lọ rí
Ọ̀tẹlẹ̀múyẹ́ Babátúndé Fáṣọlá.
Bàbá wa lọ rí kámẹ́rà tí ojú àwọn èèyàn kan rẹ mọ̀ á lójú jura wa lọ. Wọ́n ní oríṣiríṣi ìròyìn òfegè, àwọn kan òkú mọ̀ tún yá, àwa la rán sọ́jà lọ, àwa kọ́ àwọn ọ̀sẹ̀ àwọn àníkí sọ́jà lọ, púpọ̀ bá tún yá tún ní ọ̀dà náà àníkí sọ́jà lọ ṣùgbọ́n àníkí wọ́n yìnbọn. Kó láti wá ṣe báyìí, ọlọ́ọ̀bà kó ṣàánú. So the point is this: Nigeria's information minister, Baba wa dáadáa, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, after the protest, some form of regulation could be imposed on social media tó jẹ́ pé tá bá wò á rí pé ní ọdún tó kọjá, I think November 5, I think it was November 5 last year, there was a anti-social media bill which was introduced by the Senate. Yeah, 5th November 2019. Láti criminalize the use of the social media in peddling false or malicious information. The original title of the bill is Protection from Internet Falsehood and Manipulation Bill 2019. Àwọn tó sponsor billion ìkan nínú wọn.
Senator Mohammed Sani Musa.
Ìkan nínú wọn Senator kan tán gbá ojú ẹ̀ nìkan ní ṣọ́ọ̀bù báyìí Àbújá náà. Àwọn náà
Abo Elisha Abo, Senator Elisha Abo.
Ẹja gbọ́n tán ti ẹjẹ́ ká sáré wo fọ́nrán kékeré.
In this country, if it is not regulated, if it is not caged, it is a cancer waiting to consume all of us. A situation where someone will sit down in the corner of his room, conceive a lie, develop a lie, spread that lie, in some cases, even syndicate the distribution of these lies. He posts it in the corner of his room, and in the matter of minutes, it's been read in America, in England, in Australia. A lie come out from a corner of a room somewhere else. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, even conventional medias that are regulated by government are suffering from this kind of falsehood. I am supporting this bill holistically, and I stand up today to say that this bill is good, and if we cannot regulate spread of falsehood, it will consume all of us tomorrow. Thank you.
This way, Aderinu Tabanika wo kí lẹ rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ tí bàbá wa Lai Mohammed sọ yìí pé ó ṣeé ṣe báyìí bóyá kan ṣe the regulation of the social media bill.
Ẹ kálẹ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Ṣé rí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ló ti wà lórí bóyá regulate social media àbá ní regulate social media, ṣùgbọ́n báwọn kan tiẹ̀ ṣe ṣàlàyé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òfin ló wà lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà lónìí tílẹ̀ mọ́ yìí. There are laws against libel, there are laws against slander, there are laws against fake news, there are several laws against several antisocial behavior. Now, tá a bá wá ní dandan aṣáfẹ́ ní law kan tí ó regulate social media, ó dàbí ìgbà téèyàn fi style téèyàn fẹ́ mọ̀ fi mú ìbọ̀wọ́ kọjá ọwọ́ gangan tó fẹ́ mọ̀ lọ gbọ̀wọ́. Torí pé tá a bá ní ẹja wá tẹ̀sẹ̀ dá òfin kan lẹ̀, risk àkọ́kọ́ tá à ń rán ni pé lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà already a ní tó lóyìnbó ń pè ní duplicity of laws. Tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òfin ló ti fapá kọ́ra wọn tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo ẹ̀ kàn wà ńlẹ̀ bí bàbá èṣù àti òsì nǹkan kan tá a fi ń ṣe. Lẹ́ẹ̀kejì, mo rò pé n tá a tún sọ ni pé kàràn kí a máa ṣiṣẹ́ lórí kí àwọn òfin tá a ti nílẹ̀ already kí wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ instead of working on enforcing of the laws already existing. We are looking at creating more laws, thereby not admitting our failings. Tẹ́ ẹ bá fi pé nǹkan kan ń bẹ táwọn kan ṣe lórí internet yóò correct, we can prosecute them on the strength of mo rántí nǹkan kan ní ọdún yìí náà ló ṣẹlẹ̀ tí n bá gbàgbé. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi dáadáa kan Saheed Akeloye ni ó ní ló kọ nǹkan kan sórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára tí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun rò pé kò tẹ́ àwọn lọ́rùn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, wọ́n sì gbé lọ kóòtù.
Wọ́n sì gbé lọ ilé ẹjọ́. Wọ́n yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún nílẹ̀. Tó bá jẹ́ pé social media bóyá screenshots ni o or excerpts from social media, if they were not tenable in a court of law, la lè máa sọ pé let us now begin to tabawo example Kogi ń sìn gbà wọ́n dìbò tán ní Kogi tí ẹni tó yẹ kán announce as governor tó fò sánlẹ̀ tó kú, tí lacuna wà pé there is no law that says what happens when someone is about to be declared as governor then he dies. Àwa lè máa sọ pé let's now do constitutional amendment to now insert something that caters for a situation like this. But in this case, àti ráwọn àkókò táwọn èèyàn ti lọ kóòtù on the strength of ẹnìkan sọ lórí social media. We have seen several. So if there are situations where we can prosecute based on the existing laws that we have.
Okay.
Kódà ó lè jálàgọba ló gbé aago kókókókókó tó kọjá sáàrin ọjà. Tó bá spread the blasphemy, libelous anything, there is libel in law. To bá spread anything that is not true, that puts any other person in bad light, there are existing laws already that caters for these things. But bóyá nítorí pé a fẹ́ mọ̀ fi ọgbọ́n set àwọn law tí ó mú wa gáàgì social media, because it begins to look like there's another motive to it. Bóyá nítorí pé a fẹ́ mọ̀ lọ́gbọ́n tí ó mú wa gáàgì social media, that's why we are saying we must have a new set of laws that says no, this and this and this and this and this. Bóyá àwọn àbí tá a gọ̀ sí láti perpetrate àwọn nǹkan kan. So I think what we should be talking of the present laws. Human rights system wá sọ pé a citizen has all of his rights intact until he so acts in a manner that will make his rights not intact. So tí tá bá ní freedom of speech wà, it means that I have freedom of speech everywhere, even in the Nigerian cyberspace, everywhere, until I do something that is against the spirit of the unity and progress of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I think in the Ekama discuss the enforcement of the existing laws to ensure responsible behavior, not creation of new ones. So èmi bí alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ bí pàǹdọ́gbọ̀n àti creating kankan tá a mọ̀ fi wíjọ́ àwọn èèyàn. Number two, bí pé the National Assembly, particularly the Senate here, is wasting its time on things that are not necessary.
I wonder.
So for whatever angle tá a bá gbà wò, is it kó já sí waste of time? Tàbí kó já sí attempts at gagging people on social media or something like that? Nítorí jọ lọ́dọ̀ tèmi nù, honestly.
Sure. Honorable Mustapha Ayọ̀fẹ́, báwo ló ṣe rí lọ́dọ̀ tí ẹ rí pé àwọn èèyàn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ̀rọ̀ ìgbà tí Alhaji Lai Mohammed tán sọ̀rọ̀, àwọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ló ní ìgbà yìí láàárọ̀ nígbà yìí ń lo social media fún gbogbo ẹgbàjọba lọ́dún náà lọ́hùn. Kí lẹ fi ààrẹ àná wé tán lórí social media kankan, ojú wo lẹ́yìn fi wò ó?
Ẹ wò ó fẹ́ dàbí nǹkan torí pé ṣẹ́rin tí wọ́n ń sọ nípa social media bill yìí tí a bá wò dáadáa ní sẹ́nẹ̀tì tó lọ tẹ́lẹ̀ ní ti ayé Saraki ní àṣẹ́nẹ̀ president ó dàbí ẹni pé wọ́n ti gbé wá nígbà yẹn gbà pé sẹ́nẹ̀tọ̀ Bala Ibrahim Nala ló gbé bílì yẹn wá. Ṣùgbọ́n ọlá wípé ẹ̀rìn pé ńgbà yẹn ó dàbí ẹni pé àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n àti tí wọn ò gbàgbé rẹ̀ wọ́n fẹ́ pọ̀ ní sẹ́nétọ̀ nígbà yẹn, àwọn tí wọn ò wojú ẹnìkankan.
Wọ́n wojú Uche yẹn níbọ̀dì.
Wọ́n ò wojú Uche mọ́ rántí dáadáa pé wọ́n sẹ̀ǹjẹ̀ sí Committee on Human Rights. Bàtà wọn ń sì rí wọn wípé kíni yìí yóò fẹ́ le díẹ̀, so wọ́n dẹ̀ sí kíni wọ́n jù nù. So gbà tí wọ́n á dùnú tán ṣe mi pé àwọn tá a sì nísìnyìí àwọn follow me come ní follow come charger ni wọ́n. Tí wọ́n bá ti sọ àwọn máa ń wò pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tí ẹ bá ṣe follow come charger wọ́n ní ẹ̀sìn iwájú òun ni ẹ̀yìn wò sáré. Àwọn ọ̀gá yín tí wọ́n wà ń bẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ àwọn ní àkíní yóò lé díẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti dànù pátápátá. Ẹ̀yin wá tó wá come up with it pé kíní iṣẹ́ àníká gbé wá. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ wọ́n tí ó ń jẹ́ social media regulation yìí wọ́n àsìpè ọ̀rọ̀ ni tó tẹ́ bá wò dáadáa ó dàbí ẹni pé criminal code wa fún Nàìjíríà tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ I think section 372(1) ó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa false information. Òun kẹ́sì ní penalty fún ẹni tí ó bá ṣe pa false information tí ó sì jẹ́ pé ibẹ̀ ni wọ́n ń gọ sí. Tí àwọn èèyàn sì bínú sí ẹlẹ́kùnrin wájú kí wá ní ìtumọ̀ pé tó wá fẹ́ tún gbé social media regulation mi wá. Tó pé tí a bá wo àwọn ìlú tí wọ́n ti ń regulate social media dáadáa, àkọ́kọ́ nínú wọn ní China wà. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ wo China fúnra wọn ẹ̀mọ̀ pé one party làwọn ti wọ́n. One party communist ni àwọn China. Àwọn gẹ́gẹ́ ní social media tí wọ́n lọ́wọ́. Ìgbà tó sì jẹ́ pé àwọn aráàlú wọn náà ọba wọn lẹ́jẹ̀ mu.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
So wọ́n gbà fọ́lọ́run wọ́n tẹ̀lé wọn. tẹ́ bá tún wá wo àwọn ìlú tó ti ń regulate social media ẹ pé kì í ṣe ìlú democracy o àwọn ìlú Arab tó jẹ́ pé ọba ni wọ́n ní bẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ìlú tí àwọn wà yìí democracy làwọn practice ní ìlú Nàìjíríà so fún ní èyí tí a bá dẹ̀ ń practice democracy freedom of speech ó ṣe pàtàkì.
Yes.
Màtọ́ wá sọ pé àwọn regulate social media gan ẹja pẹ̀jọ Nàìjíríà gan lówó lọ́wọ́ àti regulate social media ni ṣé owó kékeré pé ní
àtúnlẹ̀ yáwó
ayé ìgbà kan ni ẹni afẹ́ close Twitter.
Wọ́n padà wọlé.
Ó sì dùn mí. Àwọn tí nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì mọ́ rí bákan lábíjà náà o. Àṣẹ́gi ní ọ̀hún ìṣe wàhálà wà Nàìjíríà nìkan.
Wọ́n ní iṣẹ́ lówó àti regulate mo ní àátúnyáwó kí ní fi ṣèyàn.
Èmi ti rò pé a wà níbi ìpàdé kan lákòókò kan àwa ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa broadband fẹ̀kàntẹ́lẹ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ò tí ì wúlò tó àti ìwúlò dáàyè kan in the area of broadband coverage and ẹ jẹ́ kí ọ̀rẹ́bù àyàn tó tẹ̀síwájú.
Ẹ tẹ̀síwájú ẹ láàlówó tá a fi regulate mo láà tún àyàwó náà ni. Àgbọ̀ yín.
Nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì yóò.
Nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì Abidjan. Hello. Ẹ padà wọlé. Ẹ jẹ́ gbé yín kúrò ẹ padà wọlé. So
à ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa broadband coverage nínú conference ọ̀hún jọ náà. Àwa sọ̀rọ̀ débi pé Nàìjíríà ò tiẹ̀ tí gbìyànjú pàápàá in the area of broadband coverage gan. Íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì wa gan ò tí penetrate everywhere in the country. Now íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ò tí wúlò fún wa débi tó yẹ kó wúlò dé. À ń sọ̀rọ̀ pa àtún fẹ́ regulate social media sí ń tọrọ wa kan.
Ó yẹ nọrẹ́bù ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ káwọ́ bóyá a máa gbọ́ yín báyìí.
Àìpò máa go lẹ́nu fa.
Kí ló ṣe microphone yín? Ẹ check microphone yín ọ̀dọ̀ yín bẹ́ẹ̀. Nǹkan mọ̀
yẹn. Ọyàn tààrà.
Àgbọ̀n yín rárá. A máa ń regulate ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́.
Kọ́mọ̀ sí gbé ti regulate yín o.
Ẹ cut kẹ padà wọlé. Ẹ cut. Ẹ jáde kúrò studio kẹ padà wọlé ẹ padà wọlé báwọn.
So ibi tó yẹ ká ti mọ make effort láti rí pé there is enough internet penetration to areas of the country where it has not reached to ensure that we increase the carrying capacity of our network connection. Fún àpẹẹrẹ ńsìn béèyàn bá lóun wà lóṣogbo tó lóun lo 4G àwàdà 4G lèèyàn lò fa.
Lóòótọ́.
Àwàdà 4G tààrà lèèyàn lò béèyàn bá lóun wà lóṣogbo òun lo 4G.
Pẹ̀lú owó ńlá tán sọ.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣó ti yé yín mà. So gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tó yẹ ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ ń parí we have not even deepened the reach of the internet ní Nàìjíríà débi pé a lot of SMEs can rise in the area of data processing and fintech. Àti ìyanjú gbogbo yun à ń fẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ a fẹ́ mọ̀ pàlàpàlàpà bí ọ̀nẹ́bù àyànfẹ́ ṣe sọ ẹ dákun bá a bá ní lóòótọ́ a fẹ́ regulate social media ẹ dákun dúró lọ́n sáà lówó tá a tún mọ̀ fi dán yín wò. Ọmọ ìyá bí ìdá 50 nínú 100 láàfin san gbèsè padà lọ́dọọdún nínú budget orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. If we are already in such a tight corner ṣé n tó tún yẹ kó kàn fún wa lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí ní ká máa ronú pé tọ̀ social media ló kàn tá a fẹ́ mọ lé regulation rẹ̀ káàkiri. Kódà tá a bá padà sórí àwọn country tí wọ́n sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé wọ́n regulate social media. China almost every social media platform ní China ti regulate such that wọ́n lo Facebook ní China wọ́n lo Twitter ní China wọ́n ní version tiwọn WhatsApp gan wọ́n fẹ́ wọ́n ní version tiwọn. Ṣé ẹ understand? Now ṣé Nàìjíríà lè afford láti dára wa yọ sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan báwọn? A country of just 200 million people bó ti yẹ pa àti jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tá a kàn mọ́ tá à ń ṣe. A country of just 200 million people ṣáà lè dára wa dúró sójú kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ká pera wa ní island káwa mọ̀ dá tiwa ṣe. Is it possible? China is a country of more than 1 billion people. so tó bá kà wọ́n nìkan láyé gan wọ́n ti pọ̀ jù gan already ká tó wá sọ pé àwa tá a wà níbi tẹ́ pé we need to do trade with other people in other countries. We need to connect. Nigerians need to reach out to the world, and then we begin to talk about. Nǹkan dé.
Kí ló dé?
Nǹkan dé o.
Kí ló ṣe máìkì?
Ẹ chẹ́ẹ̀kì máìkì yín.
Ṣé kí ẹ pa mute ẹ̀?
Wọ́n ṣe ò mute ẹ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí náà ni.
Àgbọ̀ yín.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ Nàìjíríà padà o. Nẹ́tíwọ̀kì wo burú tó báyìí.
Táyọ̀ ò wá òkè.
Nẹ́tíwọ̀kì wo burú tó báyìí ẹ máa bọ̀ Nàìjíríà padà.
Ẹ bọ̀rọ̀ pé súnmọ́ Faransé ni, ó yẹ kí gbogbo ẹ̀ tún ṣe gbọ́ngbọ́n.
Nẹ́tíwọ̀kì wo burú tó báyìí Nàìjíríà wọ́n mọ̀ padà Nàìjíríà kò lè tó báyìí. Kò lè tó báyìí.
Lówó ta lè fi ṣe regulation gan.
Ní lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí ebi ń pa àwọn èèyàn. There is so much poverty in the land. A dẹ̀ ń pariwo pa afẹ́rẹ́ regulation on social media kọ́ lọ́rọ̀ wa kàn báyìí. If Sherry ẹja tún gbàbí kan wò, because I do a lot with young people, young job seekers. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó ń go on ní social media lónìí would not even be going on tó bá yẹ pé àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa níṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́. A lot of it. So we are not fixing youth unemployment. And we are talking about regulating social media. There is a lot of traffic in social media. Tí ò ní símbẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pé we have created the right jobs for the right people. So you understand? So tí a bá create jobs for these people who fuel fake news and the rest on social media. Let's go back to the root. Sherry, the failure of our education system is another source of worry on social media. I have said this a number of times on Facebook. A lot of things that when Yemen circulate would not even need to be circulated if our education had not failed. Education system what if it? So in most cases, people even believe things they are not supposed to believe because the education they had is a failed one. So Tabani, listen, answer this social media regulation bill, see Senator Mohammed Sani to submit before the Senate. A lot of people don't comment lórí ẹ̀ gan ní òtí ẹ̀ tí ìkáwò. So most people are even commenting from a place of ignorance because education failed. But tá a bá tún wò síwájú, tá a tún wò padà sẹ́yìn. I think politicians also do not want the education system to work because for them, èmi ti ẹ̀ rò pé mo tún rò padà lánàá pé wọn ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ kan regulate social media, wọn ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀. Ìdí ni pé when election comes, they also need the sycophancy that goes on social media to win it. They do. They need the sycophancy of social media to make them win elections. For example, this issue with Desmond Elliott. Ona admits pé social media ló make you. Now, the same social media constituency ló ń fight here lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí. But ṣé ẹ mọ̀ tí ìbáṣepọ̀ kọjá yẹ, social media would not have had so much of your time. But ibi tó náà gbà gungi nígbà sọ̀kalẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ló gbà jábọ́. So tí a bá sọ pé ẹja regulate social media ó dáa tó bá dìgbà election orí platforms wo ni wọ́n ti mọ raise propaganda àbútọ́ mọ gbé ká tó bá dìgbà election. So àwọn náà bóyá ìhàlẹ̀ lásán lèmi tó padà kákún lánàá tí mo tún rò pé èrò pé wọ́n tó bẹ́ẹ̀ èrò bẹ́ẹ̀ torí tó bá dìgbà election yóò nira fún wọn ju bó ṣe wà lọ́wọ́ ìlọ yóò nira jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. 2015 n tó tó 30 sí 40% nínú iṣẹ́ Buhari social media ló ṣe.
Ó ní. Hello. Honorable Shai. Hello.
Okay. So net àtọ̀rọ̀ gáfárà iná wa ló ṣe.
Iná ló ṣáájú ẹ má bínú.
Àtọ̀rọ̀ gáfárà iná. Nẹ́tíwọ̀kì wa ló ṣe. Ara tá à ń sọ bọ̀ náà nù. Àti ní seamless internet connection. À ń sọ̀rọ̀ pa àfẹ́ regulate social media. So mo gbà pé tí àkókò bá àwọn náà fi halẹ̀ ní torí pé àkókò election ò tíì tó nígbà tákòókò election bá tó ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n ń sọ wọn ó padà torí pé àwọn náà need the social media láti. Then when you say you want to regulate social media, the other question we should ask them is to what extent are you regulating social media? To what extent? Because it's a valid question we should be asking. To what extent? And like I said earlier, to buy duplication of laws, then we're wasting our time. Because, okay, Muka social media bill, this person was talking about circulation of falsehood, libel, and all of that. Things that already exist in our criminal justice system.
Hello. I'm going Mikey, you were checking that. Okay, you're okay.
Ọ̀rẹ́ wa ìfẹ́ tún ti jáde. Ẹnìkan ló pè mí ẹ mọ́ bí kọjá.
Ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ kó wà lórí ètò ni.
Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn ò lè ṣe méjì àwọn ẹjẹ méjì pọ̀ lábàlá ní Nàìjíríà. Àwọn ò lè receive call kí data connection wa tún dúró déédéé. Ara ń tà ń sọ bọ̀ náà nù. So tí a bá sọ pé àwọn nǹkan ti wà ní criminal justice system wa already. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá mi lórúkọ jẹ́ lónìí báyìí nísìnyí, no matter where the person does it, tí n bá gbọ́nà kóòtù lọ, what they will ask me for is evidence.
Evidence ni
it will be evidence. The punishments are there instated. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ pé punishment for anybody tó bá share falsehood on social media, fine of not more than kinika amount or kinika number of years imprisonment. That is not new in the Nigerian criminal justice system. It's not new. So these are duplications. But the question we should now ask is, if it is not duplication of laws, then to what extent are we regulating social media? To what extent? Are we saying we are not even going to allow people to use the internet? Are we saying we are not going to allow people to use Facebook? Are we saying we are going to block Twitter? Nígbà tá a ti rí àwọn aláwàdà, àwọn tó ń ṣàgbàdo mọ́ọ̀dì tó ń ṣe aláwàdà dìé, bí irú àwọn Adamu Garba tó ń gbé CEO Twitter lọ kóòtù. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀? That could be a pointer to what we should expect when they talk about regulation of social media. So, are we going to be talking about blocking the social media platforms? Are we going to be saying Nigerians can no longer convene like they do on social media? Is that what we are saying? So, we should be asking questions as we condemn the intention. To what extent are we doing this thing? Because it has very far-reaching effects. Very, very far-reaching effects. We go to Wagana and listen to the marketing.
Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi báyìí?
Ẹ káàbọ̀ padà. Àgùnbẹ́lẹ́wà ibo ní ayọ̀ wà.
Ó dàbí pé
àwọn kọlù ní kọlù ń sànù.
A ti ń gbọ́ ọ̀nà ìbàyàn fẹ́ padà báyìí.
A ti ń gbọ́ yín báyìí.
Hello.
Hello, à ń gbọ́ yín.
À ń gbọ́ yín o.
Hello.
À ń gbọ́ yín.
Ọlọ́run mọ́ fi kan gbà kan lọ́wọ́ wa. Wọ́n fún yín lóhùn padà àwọn ò tún jẹ́ gbọ́ àmọ́. So at this time, I think there are more serious issues.
Can we mi fẹ́ ká rò bẹ́ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe. Ṣé kí they're trying to impose something like an edit button on political or anti-government speech so that it will be under a particular scrutiny. But before this thing goes on, we have to scrutinize. Tó
bá jẹ́ intention wọn nìyẹn mà, I think that's a joke taken too far. Because we have a lot of other things that we should have regulated on social media. For example, Nigerians are notorious for cyber crime in a lot of countries of the world. We have almost been labeled as a country of cyber criminals.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, till tomorrow, our criminal justice system, our financial financial crimes fighting systems have not been able to deal with the menace of cyber fraud. We have not. So if we cannot deal with something like that, and then we are saying we want to edit what people, how much people can post about politics, how much they can share their opinions and all of that, I don't even think we have capacity for it. I don't even think we have capacity for it. Emma won't say Nigeria that wants to regulate social media and probably will be editing what we post and then be monitoring what we do online and all of that. Nigeria, where government agencies are still using open source codes for their websites, this same country. So it looks like that one will appear like a joke to me. That's a joke taken too far. We will now begin to. We don't have the capacity of China. We don't. If Nigeria wakes up tomorrow to say that I'm gonna block internet in Nigeria, it will surprise you, man. That young Nigerians are going to use the internet. It's going to be a shock because definitely young Nigerians have better capacity than their government.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't have the best brains in government. I'm sorry to say. So at the end of the day, Nigerian young people will still find a way around whatever it is they want to create. What we should be talking about right now, our systems have failed. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about enforcement of the existing laws. We should be talking about strengthening of the existing system, such that each system can. Okay, Munka Kakalana Luri Trump bani the White House only the system, the United States system will take care of it. Nobody has to even lift a finger. The system will take care of it by itself. There is a legal system. There is something not one person can claim to be bigger than. But as far as Nigeria is concerned today, we all are almost bigger than the system. And then we are talking about one using the system to do this and that. It's a joke. For me, I consider it to be a joke or desperation taken too far.
Too far.
Honestly.
All right, bye. How far? Going back. Going.
Nǹkan dé. Ẹ̀yin ará Abidjan.
Ẹ yọ epice.
Ẹ má bọ̀nlé.
Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ straight sí fóònù yìí. Jágbó fóònù yìí lẹ́nu lò. Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ straight. Ẹ yọ Bluetooth. I'm sorry, ẹ yọ Bluetooth ẹ kúrò.
Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi báyìí?
Àwọn ẹgbẹ́ kí ló dé tẹ́lẹ̀.
À ń gbọ́ yín báwọn.
Hello.
Àwa mọ̀ ń gbọ́ yín.
Hello.
À ń gbọ́ yín.
Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi báyìí?
À ń gbọ́ yín.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àgbọ́yé.
À ń gbọ́ yín. Nǹkan mi ò dé mọ́.
Ẹ̀yin ará bí yẹn wá wo nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì yìí o.
Àmọ̀ṣe nǹkan.
Ẹja tẹ̀síwájú ìyá mi.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, gbogbo ẹlẹ́yìn ti sọ ẹ ní ìjọba iléèwé wọn fẹ́ take it too far. Tabaníkà wo náà àwọn kankan wo during this EndSARS protest. Àwọn wo ni fake news tẹ́yìn gbámú torí mo rí pé ẹ conversant dára lórí social media ní time protest tíjọba fi lùwò pé torí ó dà pé it was after the EndSARS protest wọ́n tún wá tọ́jú pé regulate kìíní iṣẹ́ irọ́ ti pọ̀ jù kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ àwọn nǹkan wo lè rí gbá ní.
Iṣẹ́ rí mà tí olórí bá ti fail, a lot of other things begin to follow. For àpẹẹrẹ, when the protest started, I think the Nigerian government did not handle it responsibly. I think so.
Not well.
There's a place of empathy in governance. Now, when youths begin to run wild like that, okay, Mokoja níbi kanjọ kan. Mo wá sọ fẹ́nìkan pé Ọlọ́run má jàre wà láǹkọ̀tì yìí. Ṣùgbọ́n there is too much fuel for crisis in Nigeria at the moment. Too much fuel. There are millions of young people with no jobs. Petrol. Yes. Rising food crisis, rising cost of fuel, rising cost of electricity, gas petrol. It can lead to a lot of anger that can cause a lot of crisis. Now, when we have so much fuel going on, it means people are angry and frustrated. And then they decide to take to the streets to protest. I was telling a person what I would have done if I were president was first to show up at the protest ground in Abuja in person. It was important. It was important. At least they will know that you identify with them and you feel their pains. Yes, you are a politician, and most likely you are going to lie there. But it still doesn't mean you should not go there. At least if you are going to lie, be bold enough to lie to their faces. So when government refuses to take responsible action, and then young people who are fuel for crisis, a lot of young jobless Nigerians who are fuel for crisis now feel that government is then neglect them. A lot of opinions will now begin to run wild on social media. A lot of opinions will now begin to run wild on social media to aggravate the situation. Okay? There are some people who actually intentionally aggravate problems on social media. Because they want to aggravate this, they want to intensify the problem. So if government had acted responsibly, we probably would not be where we are now. So I want to know they were not responsible in the handling of the situation. A little more empathy. Kiwi president is okay, I'm going to appear in Abuja. He appears today in Abuja on a Monday. On a Tuesday, he appears in Lagos and speaks to all of them. Please, Emma Binu, we are going to act on this. And then in a number of days, you take concrete action to bring to justice a number of SARS officials who have been in the bad books of these young Nigerians. Okay, till date, there are still a lot of names that have been mentioned. SARS operatives, till date, the crimes are still on record, and they are still not tried. They are still not before any court of law, any legal system that is trying to bring them to justice. They are still not anywhere. So in this case, a young man Jofin to at least show to people who are angry that okay, justice has been served, or justice is going to be served. But where justice is not served, then I can already mention a lake into fear. Sometimes tí a bá fẹ́ parí ìjà, bóyá ọmọ èké méjì ń jà, àwa ní tọ̀ ẹjá lọ parí ìjà yìí, ẹni tó wá ń bọ̀ wá parí ìjà ó wá gbébọn dání. The interpretation of mo fẹ́ parí ìjà becomes different to the two of them who are fighting. It becomes a different thing. Now, you said you wanted to, okay, there's going to be a curfew at social time in Lagos, and then you said you wanted to do this and that, this and that, this and that. Ẹja máa fi ojogate ní Yorùbá pé náà. Ẹja máa ṣe 2 + 2.
Ẹ tún dìde ní honorable.
Ká tiẹ̀ sọ wípé wọn ò mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ paná, iná lọ. Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ yín number 1. Number 2, ká tiẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ̀ mọ̀ọ́mọ̀. À ń gbọ́ yín. Ká tiẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ̀ mọ̀ọ́mọ̀. À ń gbọ́ yín clearly.
Okay. Ó ti yé mi. Hello.
À ń gbọ́ yín sẹ́.
Hello.
À ń gbọ́ yín.
Hello. Ẹ gbọ́ mi.
À ń gbọ́ yín o.
Ìṣàyẹ̀ pèsè ló ń disturb mi tẹ́lẹ̀.
Okay.
Mo ní láti wọ mọ́ṣáláṣí. Kí n lè bá ara yìí. Mo gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ ní nẹ́tíwọ̀kì wà dáadáa.
Okay.
So Allahu Akbar. Nípa ohun tí à ń sọ̀rọ̀ ní pé tí a bá wò dáadáa, àwọn ìlú tí wọ́n ti regulate social media, àwọn ìlú yẹn kìí ṣe ìlú tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n wà nípa democracy. Tí ẹ bá fi wá wo ohun tí à ń sọ yìí gangan ni pé ẹ dápẹ̀jọ́ ṣe ń tó kàn lọ́wọ́ Nàìjíríà ni. Poverty wà lẹ́wọ̀ regulate ẹ̀ o. Tẹ́lifíṣàn sọ fún wa pé ó yá o 2 days. Nínú òfin ẹgbẹ́ tó wà ní ìta ìgbẹ̀ntẹ́ àwà gan jẹ́ nínú ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ ní pé ìgbà tí a wọlé a ní 5,000 naira fún àwọn jobless youth.
Àwọn Dayọ̀ ti gbá darí.
Láì mọ̀ àwọn promise and fail. Àwọn akọ́kọ́ kàwé pé fake news, a máa tún sọ pé fake promise náà, fake news náà dábàá kàkó tó tó máa ti ń sọ báyìí náà. Tó àìmọye fake news tí ó ti wà lọ́dà campaign àti wípé pàápàá gangan nígbà yẹn náà àìmọye Jonathan gba 60 billion, Jonathan gba kíní kan
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
CBN àìmọye tí ọ̀gágun Ọbásanjọ́ bẹ́ sọ nípa wà kíní kan láti South Africa láti kíní ẹ̀dàpọ̀ ìjọ gbogbo ń bá náà la fi rò títí gbogbo náà la pọ̀ tá a fi wọlé gbogbo fake campaign fake news náà iná lò so tí mo wá realize ni pé people are not trying to regulate poverty the first thing to regulate ni tí a bá tún wá wò dáadáa ẹ pé àwọn lazy people ló ń tẹ̀ láti sọ nípa social media regulation because tí n tó bá ń ṣe what you are doing if you are sure enough about what you are doing what are you regulating ẹ jẹ́ ẹ̀mú example kan sí Borno state governor ẹ̀rí kó ráyè pé àwọn ọjọ́ kan pé kíní kan pé ọ̀rọ̀ pa pé bóyá social media kíní kan àbí àwọn aráàlú ẹ̀ tí wọ́n sọ pa social media tó pé iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe ó ràn sí wa kódà wa tá a sì ń máa dúdú tá a sì ń bọ̀ ní àwọn mú iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe pé gbogbo yìí láì tí ì sọ fún wa gan à ń rí so fún mi yìí wọ́n tí mo rí láti rí pé laziness ó ń da ẹgbẹ́ tó wà lóde ìlànà torí pé ó dàbí ẹ jẹ́ káàtó àwa ti di young state man báyìí wọ́n dàbí ibi ọdún méjì sẹ́yìn àti bàtà yìí pé ọ̀nà tí ẹgbẹ́ yìí lọ yìí wọ́n dàbí pé abẹ́síkáwọ́ ni fọlọ́fọlọ́ àwa sì jẹ́ kan tó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀mí wọ irú ọmọ ká máa ṣe fọlọ́fọlọ́ wọ́n ní bó Yorùbá ṣe mọ́ síná wọ́n ní bí ilẹ̀ ọba wọ̀ mọ́ kó ní kálukú kó rìn ní ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni may God no see us Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kébi pa wá so ẹ̀rù tí ẹgbẹ́ tó wà lóde yìí tí wọ́n bá kúrò nínú ìjọba táwọn yìí tí wọ́n bá kúrò níjọba kò sí bó ṣe lè rí wọn ní sọ̀rọ̀ pa social media mọ́ ẹ jẹ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí kẹ́mẹ́tì lọ́dìnà ẹ mú example Ọ̀yọ́ state ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn tí wọ́n wà ní Ọ̀yọ́ ń gbà yẹn tá a bá wò dáadáa láyé Ajímọ̀bí gẹ́gẹ́ tá à ń sọ yìí Ọ̀yọ́ dọ̀tí o very dirty state ní second time Ajímọ̀bí nobody complained about pé Ọ̀yọ́ dọ̀tí but now people are complaining about Ọ̀yọ́ dọ̀tí as if bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé nígbà Ajímọ̀bí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé Ọ̀yọ́ dọ̀tí.
bí epo ṣe dọ̀tí ni.
ó bẹ́ẹ̀ kó ṣe dẹ̀ ó wá dàbẹ̀ ni pé nítorí àkọ́kọ́ nílùú ni pé olóṣèlú gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ ni pọ́wẹ́ mu wa bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ó bá fẹ́ wọ̀ wá lẹ́nìí nítorí bá fẹ́ wọ̀ wá lẹ́nìí là máa dúró dé pé kìíní ó fẹ́ bọ̀ mi tí ọba wá fẹ́ wọ̀ wá mọ́ ní ọ̀la àwa òkè àkíní yọ̀bọ̀ fẹ́ wọ̀ mi máa jẹ́
àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ mí
àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ mí because tí a bá wo nípa social media tó ń sọ yìí ẹ dákọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ tí wọ́n ṣe lè regulate kan bó lè ṣe regulate social media tẹ bá sì wá regulate social media tẹ regulate news ẹ dákọ̀ ẹ̀jọ̀ ṣé tí rédíò àwọn private radio bá wà tí wọ́n á regulate rédíò private radio tẹ bá wò dáadáa láyé Abacha rédíò Abiola náà wà rédíò Kudirat ẹ dákọ̀ ẹ̀jọ̀
bẹ́ẹ̀ni rédíò Kudirat
ṣé dèní dọ̀là ṣé wọ́n mọ ibi tí ó ti operate ìjọba tí ò ní technology láti detect rédíò ìmúláyé ensas yìí wọ́n padà gbé àwọn rédíò kan jáde ẹ dákọ̀ ẹ̀jọ̀ ṣé wọ́n mọ bó ṣe operate
àbí.
ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ social media kì í máa ṣe owó kéèké àwọn parody account yẹn tí àwọn yẹn bá ń dá parody account lẹ̀ èlò wọn fi lè control ẹ̀ kì í ṣe owó kéèké ní iye ọgbà àwọn regulation yẹn because gbogbo tẹ̀ sọ yìí sì tí a bá wò dáadáa àwọn Facebook Twitter wọ́n ti ń ṣe àwọn kan yìí YouTube gan ṣe tí a bá wo ọ̀gá wa lágídí orange ọ̀gbẹ́ni Donald Trump ìgbà tí ó ń yàlà yòlò tó bá ti ń post ẹ̀ báyìí láàrin ìṣẹ́jú márùn-ún àwọn Twitter wọ́n sì kí ni wọ́n ní àbọ̀ parí
wọ́n ti bẹ́gi lé
àwọn gẹ́gẹ́ tí ń bẹ́gi lé tó jẹ́ fake news.
ibi Facebook bá wù mí ní pé tó post yìí o
ìgbà tí Facebook wa ń bẹ́gi lé ní tí a post kí wá tún ní ti ìjọba tó wà lókè tí wọ́n ní àwọn fẹ́ máa dára wọn láàmú. So fún èyí ẹ jẹ́ ká má fi ọ̀pá pọ̀lọpọ̀lọ pa èdè ìjọba tó wà lóyún àsìkò tá a wà yìí nítorí kan regulate gangan number one in the poverty if you can't regulate poverty there's nothing you can regulate. Ebi ń pa àwọn èèyàn lù ebi ń pa àwọn ẹ̀sìn wá solution gbogbo tá à ń rí pépà láti rí paper work we donated billion là ń gbọ́ but kò reflect nínú àwọn èèyàn tí ò bá dẹ̀ reflect what's the essence when there is poverty in the land and you don't look for the solution and you think the best solution now is to regulate social media ẹ dákun ìjọ ṣe pé ó takùn làákàyè ṣe àbádẹ wo ní ẹ̀gàn ó ti ń di pé wọ́n ti ń lọ mọ́ nǹkan ẹ̀sìn ní bí ijọ́ mélòó kan ọmọbìnrin kan ní ilẹ̀ Haúsá ó ya picture sórí àti Instagram ẹ̀ ìyá so wọ́n kó gbogbo ẹjọ́ lù ú pa pípípí gbà tó náà rí pé kí ní ìfẹ́ yíwọ́ ibi tí mo ṣe wáyé ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn onígànfẹ́ ni kọ́ máa ṣáàdì pé gbogbo fáńgẹ̀ mi wọ́n bá mi yanjú ẹ̀ ó yà wọ ohun tẹ́ ń fẹ́ ó fi túbọ̀ pé ẹ má bínú o láìpẹ́ jọjọ ọmọ fẹ́ lọ sí Dubai wọ́n ní àwọn ọlọ́pàá bá dé wa wọ́n ní ká wá mú ọ pé nínú post ẹnìkan sọ̀ ń pa ànẹ́bí ó pọ̀ ànẹ́bí kìíní kan fún de yìí wà lọ sí Sharia court ẹ dákun ìjọ ṣé ìlú kan náà láti jọ wà sá.
regulate gbogbo eléyìí o.
Ó ga o.
Regulate yẹn o àní lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí mo tún kà ń pín wípé ní Kano bọ́tù ọtí alcohol tó lọ bí 1 million naira something ni wọ́n tún bàdàn tó owó ẹ̀ lọ bí 200 million naira ni wọ́n dànù ẹ̀dẹ́kọ̀ ìjọ ṣe bí táàkì alcohol táwọn kan bá ní south west gbogbo mẹ́ra wọn ṣe bí náà fi ń pín fowó Nàìjíríà Dubai ní ànẹ́sẹ̀ ní Dubai gan ti regulate alcohol wọ́n tó bá fẹ́ mu ọtí wà gba láìsẹ̀nsì ẹ̀ kò sì máa mu ọtí ẹ̀ jẹ́jẹ́ ẹ̀dẹ́kọ̀ ìjọ ìlú tó jẹ́ Dubai tó tún súnmọ́ táwọn tún súnmọ́ tó fi sáì súnmọ́ àwọn àna tó fi sáì súnmọ́ ẹ̀sìn táwọn àgbà ní
ibi táwọn àna bíi ti wá
tó bá di pé àwọn ìtẹ̀ra wá kì ibi tá àwọn Dubai sì ní àwọn lè ṣe tó pé ayédèrú ọ̀hún bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ làwọn náà ń lọ aráyé tí wọ́n ń jẹ́ ń bẹ̀ táwọn bá táwọn regulate gbogbo ẹ̀ àwọn tó bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n dùbẹ̀ lọ tó pé ayé fàáfù ni wọ́n jẹ́ ń bẹ̀ yìí ọ̀dọ́ tí wá tá àti wá ráyé jẹ so why are we disturbing ourselves? Èmi wò pé tí wọ́n bá ti ń sọ pé àwọn máa regulate social media the best thing we need to tell them now is that please go and regulate poverty first. If a Nigerian can have 3 meals per day very short for years I'm having 3 meals per day now you have regulated poverty. If Nigeria can have access to electricity, have access to pipe water, have access to good security, good roads, now you can regulate whatever you want. Àwọn nǹkan wà ẹ máa gbọ́ àwọn nǹkan kan wọ́n ní ó lágbára ṣé máa gbọ́ àwọn ní àwọn àdúrà kan wà àwọn olùkọ́ bọ̀ ìmọ̀ ṣe mọ́ tẹ bá wà ní ìjà
Ọlọ́run yóò múná dé
mà jẹ́ kó múná dé Ọlọ́run dákun jọ
ẹ mọ̀ wò fíìmù ẹ mọ̀ gbàdúrà kọ́lọ́ mọ́ yóò múná lọ.
Àwọn àdúrà tí ò lè gbà gbọ́mọ̀ múná lọ àwọn àjà tí ẹwọ́ wúlù tẹ́mi wá yìí population wọn ò ju bí 20 million lọ wọ́n ti múná lọ kẹ́yìn iná wọn ò bí ṣe bí wọn dá kò ṣe possible
ní Abidjan
àwọn náà ní poverty tí wọn náà tó ń bá wọn jà ṣùgbọ́n tó jẹ́ basic ní Abidjan ṣùgbọ́n tó jẹ́ basic amenities they are providing.
Hello Dilo.
Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi dáadáa?
À ń gbọ́ báyìí ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ yín lọ. Ọ̀rẹ́ ìgbà máa sọ̀rọ̀ yín lọ. Àyànfẹ́.
Wọ́n provide.
Okay, à ń gbọ́ yín.
Náà tó jẹ́ basic amenities wọ́n provide. Ṣé pé irú ìlú báyìí tí wọ́n bá mú òfin kan dé àwọn ọmọ olùgbọ́n ó kọ̀ọ̀kan ó yẹ owó dáadáa.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Òótọ́ ni.
Ìdàtọ̀ pé inú wọn dùn ṣe tí ìjọba wá ń ṣe fún wọn. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn ìjọba tí ò ṣe tí inú wa dùn ó ti wá fún mi gáàgì wa pẹ̀lú social media regulation. Ẹ wo ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ó ti kú lọ́wọ́ àdúrà.
Lọ́yà Azeez Okuneye.
Bá a ṣe sọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí náà.
Kí lẹ rí? Ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ yín lọ. Àtùgbọ́mọ nǹkan tún dé.
Mo fẹ́ fi ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́kùn lọ́yà Azeez ìgbà tó jẹ́ kó wọ́n ṣe. Mo fẹ́ fi ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́kùn lọ́yà Azeez ìgbà tó kó wọ́n ṣe ìjọ ìwà ni.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni ẹ ṣé adúpẹ́ lọ́yà Azeez Odúnẹ̀yẹ ẹ kálẹ́ o.
Ẹ kálẹ́ ma, ẹ má bínú pé mo join late a little bit.
Ẹ join late, ẹ join later wà.
Ẹ má bínú ma. It was not deliberate. Some things just came up tí mo try to sort out. So by the time tí mo máa ní access sí kíní, mo rí pé time tí lọ, I had to just rush in sáré wò. So mo apologize. Yes, ma'am.
No problem. We have in the house Mr. Dayo Derinu and Honorable Mustafa láti Abidjan. Oh,
nice to meet you, sir.
Okay. But so, Barrister, I got answer nípa social media bill tí wọ́n introduce ní 2019 last year náà ni. But the issue is this: after the EndSARS protest, a rí pé gbogbo nǹkan rí bákan, there were blames here and there, arguments, counter arguments. The government Èkó ní ní kí sójà wá, àwọn èèyàn òkú, wọ́n pààyàn, wọ́n gbébọn wá. Immediately after the process, the protest started as an online campaign. Tẹ́ ẹ bá gbàgbé, ẹni pé orí social media ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní campaign gangan ti gbéra sọ. To mobilize. Mobilization was done through the social media, very huge and massive. Tó jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn wò pé èmi gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì tó fẹ́ lè má ti rí irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn rí. So the Minister for Information wa come out pé well, ó dà pé àwọn máa ṣì ní láti regulate social media. Kí ni take on this issue?
Well, first, I need that you can understand the essence of social media.
Yeah.
With the advent of technology, technological advancements and the likes, social media has more or less replaced our day-to-day lives and activities, and the actually communicate at the lab, actually disseminate the information. So I think that is actually what has actually made the world or turned the world to the global village. Because with social media, the world, I mean, we actually got closer than it used to be. So now, when the government wants to regulate, then that becomes a very big issue, because it's more or less like the government is trying to tell you that I'm going to regulate how you walk on the streets, how you relate with people. Now, there are already laws in place, like some of the fears, the ministers, okay, fake news, what's it called? Then maybe saying wrongful things about another person. We have laws against libel and slander, so which have already taken care of that part. Now, the other question we should ask is, to what extent does the government intend to regulate social media, so to speak? So is it that they are going to tell us that you want to post something, somebody must approve it? If somebody would approve it, can you yardstick to be measured? You know, something happened recently that was going around of a northern actress, I think actress also, to post the picture on social media and the controversies that trailed that picture. Now, I saw someone else gave an opinion, compared that picture to the picture of the daughter of one of the politicians where she wedding, and he now asked which one is worse. So when the other one was done, nothing was said. But the armless one, because I actually took my time to check those pictures, the armless one, then controversy was failure. So as far as I'm concerned, I feel that the attempt to regulate social media by these governments is actually a sign of failure. And I don't think it will come to stay. You know, we look at the constitutional duties of government and the constitutional rights of citizens. You have rights, you have freedom of speech and freedom of expression. You can express yourself. Now, if your expression has now in any way are infringed on another person's rights, there are procedures. So, and Teba will trend here, the trend of regulating social media has always been an issue in autocratic settings. You see countries, with all due respect, some of those countries where they practice autocracy. Yes, that is where those things. That's where those things usually comes up. So you don't see it come up in a democratic settings. So, and then these same people don't pariwo social media, fake news. They are beneficiaries of this social media. So it's now a bit surprising that those who are
beneficiaries of social media never be beneficiaries of fake news. It won't be.
The fake news, they were those who spread this fake news on social media, and they actually use social media as a tool to disseminate their own agenda, to disseminate news, wrong news or fake news against the government then, and it worked. So they used the same social media to propagate their agenda. So I feel like Orowo is more or less a situation of Abenilori to fẹ́ kọ́ múdà kọjá orí òun. So they know they know the importance, they know the kind of weapon to lè jẹ́ in terms of checking bad governance, in terms of we now have what's it called now, the Freedom of Information Act and laws in some states. And you see that even despite these laws, you still hold the information. So just imagine what happened in Lekki the other time. Imagine what we saw. Imagine what we were informed happened. Imagine all deniers. Imagine the speaking back and forth. You say one thing here, you say another thing tomorrow. So imagine if we don't have social media to actually because that's the fastest way to pass messages across. So imagine if you don't have all those things. Imagine if somebody is now attempts to regulate, let me use that word, or to dominate that kind of environment, or that kind of environment. Then something is wrong. So it should be a free situation. So if you say any bad or any fake things about me, then I have legal rights against you. It's simple. So I don't feel it's a welcome development, and I don't think if we have if these things are even to check in the court, you test when you test the functionality. Well, I believe it's not going to fly.
Yeah, thank you. Alàgbà Ọdẹrínú tí ẹ ṣì wà ń bẹ̀. Àgbọ̀ yín o.
Ẹ má bínú mo wà ń bẹ̀.
Okay, a rí pé ẹ mute mic. Àṣàrí tẹ́ oúnjẹ náà ní nǹkan. Kọ́lọ̀ ń ṣàánú ni. Oúnjẹ yìí ní nǹkan o, àwọn fresh. Ẹ polówó fresh yìí nítorí àwọn olùdílé lè ṣe kéèsì wá sóṣogbo. Wọ́n kàn yà kan jẹun. Wọ́n sanwó ṣá.
Inú wa ti ẹ̀dùn láti gbà wọn lálejò.
Ẹ̀bùn àyànfẹ́ ẹ̀ ń ṣàlejò ọ̀nà ẹ̀bùn àyànfẹ́ ń tiwọn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ilé làwọn wà lábíjà sẹ́yìn káwọn ìdìbò lábíjà.
Ilé náà wà. So in a nutshell, torí ìdílé ọ̀pẹ wọlé agbíjọ tún lọ Ọlọ́run ṣàánú. So how is it going to affect human rights and democratic expression if eventually wọ́n pàpà lọ carry out regulation yìí?
Sherry, the freest and the most unrestricted platform for young people without means to be on radio and television to vent and express themselves is social media.
Very fast, social media.
So if today you say you want to regulate social media, a lot of young people, okay, the career of young entertainers. Let's start from there. The moment something happens to the social media and we are not able to, because Nigeria to go according to plan. So after regulate the social media, it will spiral down into something else. So by the time it begins to spiral down, it begins to affect people's careers, and then you begin to get afraid of what to joke about. For example, a lot of these comedians who do jokes on social media do it based on whatever is going on in the politics.
Benny.
Now, when you begin to say you want to regulate social media, their content base is affected because majority of them bring much of their content from what happens in politics.
Yeah,
so
right.
Okay, I regulate the social media. Number one thing, we are taking away all of the communication opportunity for self-expression that young people have. That's what we are taking away. Cherry gbogbo wèrè tá à ń ṣe social media ń gbà míì tẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn ó búra wọn wọ́n ṣe kinní kan báwọn kan ṣe ń survive n ti ń ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà nìyẹn. That's how some people survive. That's the truth. That's how some people survive. So tábà ní okay ẹja ẹ má gbàgbé kí mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé I even believe that these politicians wọn ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ láti regulate the social media yìí. I believe so because by the time election comes, they are going to be at the losing end of every decision they take concerning social media. I want to know at the losing end because they want to push propaganda, they want to push this and that, and these young people who they want to gag, they separate and they gag, attention of a gag eventually, they won't be able to. So I think that if it is truly affected, like the barrister said, the countries who try these things are autocratic countries. They're not countries who have human rights. So in this country where we have the freedom of expression, and the freedom of expression, and then our criminal code clearly states that an accused person is considered innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
It means that until you even take me to a court of law, you cannot even claim that whatever I post on social media is fake news. I am deemed innocent or ignorant until you prove a reasonable case against my person. So our democracy demands that every citizen has a voice. We have a voice. So if you want to say you now want to regulate our activities to avoid hate speech, to avoid clinical, okay, fine. The question I asked earlier, to what extent? To what extent? Because if we are going to regulate and stifle people's voices, it means we are taking away the rights of people to express. It means we are going to need to edit the part of our constitution that says every citizen has the right to freedom of expression. It means we are going to have to edit that part because that is you saying we cannot freely express ourselves. And then we are going to edit that part in the criminal justice system that says every accused person is innocent until found guilty as charged.
Yeah.
So if we are going to stifle voices with the regulation of social media, what we are doing is we are taking away people's rights to contribute to politics, to contribute to governance, to put people in government on their toes. It means we are going to turn people in power to demigods. And then at the end of the day, we will now start the thing Nigeria is known for, victimization.
Yeah.
Because in this case, what will now constitute hate speech and fake news will now be subject to interpretation. It will now be the government in charge who begins to interpret what amounts to fake news and hate speech. It's not as if we will have any dictionary for hate speech. No, there won't be any dictionary that says this is hate speech and this is not. So it will now begin to mean they are the ones making the laws and the ones interpreting them. So they could just wake up tomorrow morning and say under the Hate Speech Act, Mr. So and so is deemed guilty of clinical, and you are under arrest. No, that's not. We are not in a police state. We are in a democratic state where every citizen must have a right. In fact, in this country, a terrorist has a right. Because we are in a democracy. So if you arrest him, as long as he is not killed in a gun battle with the army, if you arrest him, he will go through a proper criminal trial. And when he is found guilty, he is going to be sentenced according to the criminal code. That's what we are in Nigeria. We are in a democratic state. So except some people in this government feel that we should move from democracy to autocracy, well, that will now begin to, maybe we will now need a national confab to conclude with ourselves, to agree with ourselves that okay, Nigeria needs to now revert or to a monarchy. Let's have Baba for life. It's
let's have a dynasty. Benny.
Thank you, ma.
So the law, the Minister for Information, Alhaji Mohammed, one fake news is one of the biggest challenges facing Nigeria. How true is this? Honorable Rani,
I feel that is wrong. Fake news is not. Yes, it's not the biggest challenges we have. The biggest challenges we have has to do with the leadership. In the first place, I want to circulate fake news. See, behind every fake news to fly around, those who circulate or those who start who commence it always have an agenda, and oftentimes those agendas are political. So yes, those agendas are usually political. So what I think we should rather concentrate on is how do we have strong institutions, then rather than trying to gag people as to what they say online and this and that. The Minister for Information should rather concentrate on informing and educating people on how to spot fake news. I can wake mo le bọ́ síta ní street mi sì kí n pariwo pé kíní kan is a thief o, kíní kan báyẹn. People will hear me. But if people can have a means to verify what I have said,
then
without spontaneously acting, and all those spontaneous reactions, with all due respect, does not happen in our own part of the world here, but in some other part, let me use the word the northern part most especially. So if a news is circulating, if you circulate a fake news about me, I'm entitled to lodge a criminal complaint against you. Yes. I'm entitled to file a civil suit against you.
Defamation of character is part of it.
Yes. So it is not our problem as far as I'm concerned, because rather, like I said, we should rather concentrate on how do you spot fake news if you come across all those if you come across such, because if we tilt towards that proposed control, then we would have a bigger problem. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí Mr. Alagba ṣe sọ. Sorry, sir. Okay, where be Alagba ṣe sọ? Don't feel like. So what you said earlier on, the question of who would be how do you interpret what is fake news and what is not? So Omar, it will become vague. And when it becomes vague, yes, and once it becomes vague, then it will be open to abuse. So it's more or less like Emiati colleague were joking today about what is happening in America, and we're just joking. Okay, imagine if those things are happening in Nigeria. You know, where you have stronger institutions there. You know, the president is not God. Yeah. You know, like this when Trump was saying, "Oh, they should halt you," in Nigeria, you don't need to go to court. In fact, you go to court, you just get an ex-parte order, stop counting. Yes. And they stop. Yes. Why? Because even with all due respect, even the judiciary is weak.
Very.
The institutions are weak.
I like this is coming from a lawyer.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth, because you see, so many things are wrong. You know, we are in this profession too, and we see a lot. And sometimes all these people, these judges or whatever, sometimes they are helpless. We are in a state where a governor will say, "You are not going to appoint a woman as a substantive chief judge." Why? Because you are not from my state and you are a security threat. How can a governor have such power? How can a governor have such power? So now, if a governor can have such power over a chief judge of a state, please, what kind of justice or what kind of fearless justice would you expect from the head of that institution? So that is just by the way. Even during the NSAS protest, you see the army coming and say our loyalty is with the president. Their loyalty should not be with the president, but with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Protecting the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So sad. So sad.
So, but that is not what we have. So if we are in this kind of situation, and somebody is now proposing that kind of thing, then we are in trouble. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not even going to work because so many things are involved. You know, the social media space is not Nigeria space alone. No. It is a cross-border situation. So, well, I don't know, but just the view that I have in view of these circumstances, you know, I don't feel it is safe. I don't feel it is in the interest of Nigerians to have such regulations. Just lastly, the last time we were doing this EndSARS process, some media houses were fined. Why? They said why? They said they broadcasted news items that were fake.
Fake news.
Who determined whether they are fake? These are news items that are now subject of adjudication by judicial panel of inquiries that were raised by the government. Okay. So why would you find them before you actually discover that, when you are yet to even discover whether they are fake or not? Mm-hmm. So it still points out to one thing: you would have even jailed somebody before you even determine what he's saying is.
And that's what we practice today. So we just will find out.
So you just find media houses and that's it. Well,
thank you very much. Honorable Ayanfe,
yes, ma'am.
You advise because Batama bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò nígbà tí ẹ̀yin gan fẹ́ gbàjọba ẹwà lára wọn gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe fi social media dàbíra mọ́ra wọn. Ìmọ̀ràn yín fún ìjọba tó wà lóde o lórí pé a regulate ní ṣókí.
Ìmọ̀ràn mi ní ṣókí ni wípé kí wọ́n má dára wọn láàmú, kí wọ́n jẹ́ kí ètò tó máa lọ bí ó ṣe ń lọ. Láyé sí ìgbọ̀nsẹ̀ ní ẹni tí ó bá pósìtì tó bá jẹ irọ́, tí ó bá parọ́ fún yẹn ní alákọ̀ọ́kọ́, ẹgbẹ́ ènìyàn tó bá jẹ́lẹ̀ kejì, àwọn ìgbò ní lọ sí orí pósìtì ẹ̀gbẹ́ máa wà nílé irọ́ ní pẹ̀lú pósìtì ẹ̀ má dà lọ. Tó fún èèyàn gẹ́gẹ́ ti tó láti regulate fake news àti ìtọ́jẹ́ news. Pápá jùlọ ni pé tí a bá ṣọ́ra, wọ́n parí pé social media fẹ́ dá wà lálẹ́ ẹ̀dá kejì. Ṣé terrorism tó wà ní the Boko Haram, ṣé social media ló ń fa tó fi báyìí? The banditry in Zamfara, is it because of the social media? There are some key issues that they don't want to discuss about. So my best advice for them is that at least they should first build our institution. Our institution is very weak. There's no hope even for the common masses to close off the rich also cry, because nowadays even for the rich to even say that okay, let me just cruise by road from south to north can be issue because of the kidnapper. So you are not even sure of what will happen in an hour in Nigeria, because once you are driving, you are just looking at your back. So I think they should just drop the issue. Though I know that it will not even go. It will not even, because the people in the Senate, we still have some people who have some brains among them. And I know that those people, they will not even take it granted. The way that the last Senate dropped it, I'm very sure that the current Senate Assembly will even also drop it. And I think I will even advise the Minister for Information to even try as much as possible to check some news and some video where he himself makes some fake news. And even imagine that, okay, if I want to try as much as possible, even to regulate social media, I'm supposed to be the first person to go to prison. So by then they can regulate it.
Then, kí ni ẹ fẹ́ máa ha díẹ̀ mo fẹ́ lè ní àmì wọ́n ti ń regulate ti lọ́dọ̀ yín ní
wọ́n ti regulate àwọn àríjọ.
Ọdún wa àwọn òfẹ́ ní wàhálà àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà náà ní wàhálà wa kí ló bá
wọn. Báyọ̀ nínú orípẹ́ tí yín yọ̀sà káìlè tètè tó gbé káìlè gbóbi ọ̀fadà kaná ní kí aláàárọ̀ ọ̀la.
Èmi ìmọ̀ràn mi ò pọ̀, ṣùgbọ́n ká má bàa fẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́ pàlàpàlàpà. Bàbá wa kan ni wọ́n lọ bá pé bàbá wọn lè ń jẹjẹkújẹ pọ̀ jù. Ó wá nítọ̀, bàbá wa nítọ̀, tí oúnjẹ gidi bá tán lẹ̀ fàgbàlagbà ṣèjẹkújẹ náà kọ́ kan.
Ìyẹn lágbára o.
Tí a bá rí òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ńlẹ̀ tó òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ bá sùn irọ́ ó sáré. Tí ìjọba bá mọ̀ pé àwọn ò fẹ́ kí fake news kó máa rìn bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ títí, we have the National Orientation Agency that has been moribund.
Wọ́n sì ń ṣiṣẹ́.
Almost moribund. Ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan la máa ń gbúrò wọn. We have the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. We have the Nigerian Communications Commission, the NCC. How active are those bodies of government? If you want to curtail the excesses of social media, you should make those places active first, so that they can become authoritative sources of information for people. Tẹ́ bá ń wá àwọn kankan pa Nàìjíríà lónìí, yes ma, ẹ lè rí. Today in Nigeria, you cannot even find accurate data of our population. You can't. So if I cannot find, and I find someone on social media who sounds like he knows what he's saying, I am bound to believe him. So we must develop and strengthen our platforms such that they become authoritative enough for people to trust. If people can trust the Nigerian government, and we don't trust the Nigerian government because it does not work. Now, if people can trust the Nigerian government because it is working, then definitely this fake news thing will die by itself. It will die a natural death. Although we cannot say it will stop. People still spread. In fact, the president of the United States of America, the present president, they are going one. Sorry, he spread some fake news very recent. So it is not going to completely die. It's not going to completely die, but we may not kill it, but we will of course curtail it. To bá jẹ́ pé very solid system tó wà lórílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tó bá yẹ kó ṣiṣẹ́. I think that is the solution to this problem.
So the law, from the legal point of view, moral point of view, àti gẹ́gẹ́ bí aráàlú tẹ̀sí níbi orílẹ̀-èdè yìí, kí lẹ rò pé ó kàn fún ìjọba tó wà ń ta ìyàtọ̀ sí regulate social media?
Even ìjọba fúnra wọn mọ nǹkan tó kàn fáwọn.
Sọ́mọ̀ ni?
Yeah, one more. You see, they can't deny, they know. But problem tá a ṣì ní náà ìmọ̀tara ẹni nìkan ni. Everybody tó wà níjọba tó wà ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì mọ̀ pé ó yẹ kóun ṣe àwọn ọ̀nà wa. Ó yẹ kóun ensure pé the healthcare system is okay. Despite the lessons that I learned in COVID-19 because of the bad healthcare system, and then they had no opportunity to travel outside the country. So many of them had to die here. So, but still, we still have not learned. Nobody had better. Because we don't have enough facilities here. So I think the government knows what to do. But because this issue, with all due respect, is a defeatist initiative. Is an initiative of some.
What you regulate in there?
Have any idea? Or who lacks idea as to how they move forward. So, and to cover up their inadequacies, then they want to start bringing all these things to gag people. At least, tí òwe social media ọba ṣáà ṣiṣẹ́ tó bá lè sọ pé kíní then kò sẹ́ni tó máa spread pé ẹni báyìí ṣe báyìí ẹni báyìí ṣe báyìí ẹni báyìí. So I think legally speaking, I think it's a sad day for human rights in Nigeria when these kind of things are even being muted by the government. Morally speaking, I think it's also a sad day for us as a people when we have our government who are supposed to protect us, looking for ways to stop us from talking. So both legally and morally, I don't think it's a good idea. As about the attempt to say, oh, we want to regulate social media. How do you regulate social media? It's a shame. Even got and discuss in some countries, we wouldn't be discussing it. Even the person and to mention will be on fire. Would have likely paid with his job. Yeah, they would have resigned. They know, and he would have paid with his job. But well, unfortunately, we have it, and we have people. Some people even coming out boldly, to even canvass that they want to. They want to regulate social media. This is a country where a policeman would not stop you, and then you would have the gut to bring out your phone to record him. You are in trouble. Why?
So, Dayo Aderinú ẹ wá sọ àdírẹ́sì ilé oúnjẹ yín fún Dìlọ torí
ajá kejì Lezec Plaza lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Ọláìgbọ́n pharmacy ní Alékù Odò l'Óṣogbo. Lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ títí báyìí gangan ló wà ní ọjà Alékù Odò.
Dìlọ
tó bá jẹ́ pé close mọ́ náà wà.
Ẹnjìníà ni ẹni tí ń sọ̀rọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ń ṣe.
Àwọn ẹnjìníà oúnjẹ náà ní kọ́lọ̀ ń sàánú ìyá.
tó bá close mọ́ icon to Òṣogbo, we can just
a máa ń ṣe delivery.
Wọ́n jẹ́ wá gbé fún yín.
Lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Oríṣiríṣi oúnjẹ.
Lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Ọlọ́run ibò àyànfẹ́ ọjọ́ wo lẹ ń bọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà báyìí? Ẹ tẹ́ ìwà tàbí ìjọ lọ́wọ́.
Pẹ̀lú ògbọ́lọ́run títí parí oṣù yìí, ọ̀rọ̀ ìdè náà.
Ok, ìdàgbà.
Ọ̀rọ̀ ìdè náà tí wọ́n parí oṣù yìí.
Báwo la bí jọ ò ṣé gbẹ wà òkè?
Adúgbò fọlọ́ bó ṣe jẹ́ pé ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà ló gbogbo ìgbọ́n ìyàtọ̀ jẹ́ fẹ́fẹ́ ìgbàkẹ́. Ọlọ́wọ́ àwọn náà ti lọ sí wòye ọ̀sẹ̀ tó lọ àdìbò ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó lọ.
Ìbò kọ́lẹ̀ di ohun ẹsẹ̀ coronation ni.
Ìyá
coronation ni.
Tí ẹ̀gbá ìtọ́lọ́ fi yọ òun tiẹ̀ ní pé I think the money for the states be try for the country so kò ní káyọ̀ ẹni láti sè.
Wọ́n ti regulate ọ̀dọ̀ yín yẹn. Regulate. Ẹ ṣe wá God bless you.
Ẹ̀jẹ̀ sáyé fún yín ní.
Kí lẹ rí?
Mo fẹ́ sáyé sọ̀ọ̀sì kíkan níbi sísítẹ́ẹ̀mù tí wọ́n sọ ní ṣùgbọ́n leadership ni wọ́n dà.
Hello,
ìgbà míì gbé leadership ni wọ́n dà ṣùgbọ́n kí sísítẹ́ẹ̀mù ni wọ́n dà. Ní ọ̀sẹ̀ bíi méjì tó lọ, ọlọ́pàá kan ó ń dá ìgbẹ́ lórí motorcycle ó wá ń ṣe report ni wọ́n pàtó ẹgbẹ́ wọn lọ yá stop tó ń tọ́ ní pé ṣọ́ọ̀bù kò dà wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ wípé ọ̀gá adákùnrin náà bèrè mọ́ report ni ṣé gbọ́ mi. Àlejò ló ń sọ fún ọlọ́pàá báyìí pé kó stop ní tó ń ṣe ọ̀gá ó sì lè kí má gbé kí má report òun. Ṣé ẹgbẹ́ wà náà jà pé wọ́n sọ fún ọlọ́pàá pé ọ̀gá stop ọ̀gá tí ò ní kọ́kọ́ fún
wọ́n yìnbọn sí lẹ́sẹ̀.
So ní èyí tí leadership bá dáa tí system bá dáa.
Just like that.
Wọ́n yìnbọn sí lẹ́sẹ̀ ni.
Ọlọ́ọ̀gbà Nàìjíríà mo ní wọ́n pọ̀ o. Barrister Azeez Adupe Odunleye, God bless you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, and I apologize for coming late o.
Àwọn apology accepted. Ọlọ́run ṣàánú ẹ̀ṣọ́ Adúpẹ́ o. Honourable Àyànfẹ́, nice talking to you, nice having you on the show. Ẹ ṣé Adúpẹ́, ẹ bá ń kí àwọn àjìyà o àti ìgbòkèdè. Ẹ bá ń kí àwọn èèyàn láti lọ. Alàgbà Aderinú, ẹ kú palẹ̀ mọ́ ọ̀la.
Ẹ ṣeun ma. Ẹ ṣeun ma.
Ẹ ti ṣá òkúta kúrò náà padà tẹ́sẹ̀ fáwọn èèyàn.
Lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Ẹ sì ti rẹ́ àìwé ata.
Lágbára Ọlọ́run.
God bless you. Have a wonderful time.
Ó dàrú ma.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni o. Oorun ayọ̀ la máa sùn. God bless you all.
Àmín Jésù.
Bye. Bye. Yeah.
Naija ṣì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Naija ṣì máa dùn. gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Naija sì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ sì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Ọba òkè fẹ́ fi Naija dára. Aṣálẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣàn fún wàrà. Afẹ́fẹ́ tó fẹ́ tù wá lára. Gbogbo tó ti bàjẹ́ o, ó bọ̀ wá dára. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè ṣe, Ọlọ́run ló lè ṣe. Kékù kò kébì eku, kẹ́yẹ kò kébì yẹn. Ọba òkè ọba àánú o, bá mi pélé yòó. Naija sì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ sì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. You might be wallowing in the mud. If you must seek help, let it be from God. Help comes from above, not abroad. He will turn things around with his word. Bẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ kò sí ibi tá a máa sá lọ. Ilé làbọ̀ sinmi oko. Àwọn bàlújẹ́ àfẹsẹ̀fẹ́. Àwọn jẹ̀lú máa dẹ̀wọ̀ gbọ́. Kọ́ngó kọ́ngó agogo ń dún kọ́ngó kọ́ngó. Gbogbo àwọn akọ́sí ilé ta. Lèdùmarè máa lé síta. Naija sì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ sì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Gbogbo tó ti bàjẹ́ o, ó bọ̀ wá dára. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè ṣe, Ọlọ́run ló lè ṣe. Kékù kò kébì eku, kẹ́yẹ kò kébì yẹn. Ọba òkè ọba àánú o, bá mi pélé yòó. Naija sì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ sì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Naija sì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ sì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Naija sì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Oyin dẹ̀ sì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Ọba òkè fẹ́ fi Naija dára. Aṣálẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣàn fún wàrà. Afẹ́fẹ́ tó fẹ́ tù wá lára. Gbogbo tó ti bàjẹ́ o, ó bọ̀ wá dára. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè ṣe, Ọlọ́run ló lè ṣe. Kékù kò kébì eku, kẹ́yẹ kò kébì yẹn. Ọba òkè ọba àánú o, bá mi pélé yòó. Naija sì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló sì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. in the mud. If you must seek help, let it be from God. Help comes from above, not abroad. He will turn things around with his word. Yeah. Bẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ kò sí ibi tá a máa sá lọ. Ilé làbọ̀ sinmi oko. Àwọn bàlújẹ́ àfẹsẹ̀fẹ́. Àwọn jẹ̀lú máa dẹ̀ wọ́n gbọ́. Kọ́ngó kọ́ngó àgògò ń dún kọ́ngó kọ́ngó. Gbogbo àwọn àkóso ilé ta. Lèdùmarè máa lé títà. Nàìjà ṣì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀. Orílẹ̀ ṣì máa ṣàn nílẹ̀. If you believe, let me see your hands up. Gbogbo tó ti bàjẹ́ o, ó bọ̀ wá dára. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè ṣe, Ọlọ́run ló lè ṣe. Kékù kò kébì eku, kẹ́yẹ kò kébì yẹn. Ọba òkè ọba àánú o, bá mi pélé yò ó. Nàìjà ṣì máa dùn. Gbogbo nǹkan ṣá ló ṣì máa dẹ̀rọ̀.